Howdy, hockey fans. Patrick Hickey Jr. here, thehockeywriters.com, giving you guys an inside look at what the New York Islanders look like with the losses of Matt Martin, Frans Nielsen, and Kyle Okposo. So it's kind of hard to replace three guys the likes of Matt Martin, Frans Nielsen, and Kyle Okposo. So Kyle Okposo is probably one of the most dependable wingers the Islanders have had in a very, very long time. Away from John Tavares, he's been the heart and soul offensively of the team. Woo! Thank you, Andrew Ladd, for being on the ice when that happened. But what the Islanders have done is they've gone out and they've acquired Andrew Ladd, 7 years, $38.5 million. And then they picked up Jason Chimera and signed him to a 2-year deal worth a little bit over $2 million a year. And the deals aren't that bad. I mean, some people are probably going to be like, you don't sign somebody like Ladd to a 7-year deal. He's not the youngest guy in the world anymore. He's been around for 10 years in the NHL. But when you think about it, over the past 5 or 6 years, he's scored at least 25 goals. He hits. He had 212 hits a couple of years ago. He had over 150 last year. So what the Islanders have done is they have begun to replace the offense of Okposo and Nielsen and the hits of Martin by committee. So if you combine the hits of Ladd and Chimera, you're getting pretty close to the number that Martin throws around. So that changes the dynamics of the Islanders as well. So Martin scored 10 goals last year, a career high. Chimera scored 20 last year, 40 points. He's going to be playing on the fourth line probably. This is the guy that you're looking at that's probably going to be Matt Martin's replacement. The thing is, a fourth line on a lot of teams is considered a demotion, but on the New York Islanders it's not. That's their grind line. That's their energy line. They're going to get minutes. They're going to play anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. Clutterbuck has offensive ability. Cizic has just signed a big deal for him, and he's expected to put up more. Chimera's 37, but has great legs still. He actually is considered, to me, an upgrade over Martin in terms of overall player. You know, Chimera's a guy that you would like to kill penalties. He has a lot more versatility. He gives the Islanders a bunch of different looks. So losing Nielsen kind of hurts the Islanders in a bunch of different ways because it's a guy that kills penalties. He plays the point on the power play. He plays the wing with Tavares sometimes. So Ladd is going to be asked to do a lot. At the same time, face-offs, depth at center. Do the Islanders move Brock Nelson back to center? Does Strome go and play center again? So Strome is a guy that's played the point on the power play before. Strome is a guy that the Islanders were really high on at one time. They're probably still high on him at another. They're still high on him. So is Strome the guy that steps up and becomes the second line center? Grabowski was not bought out. Kuhlman was not bought out. So I've got them on the third line playing together. That makes a lot of sense for me. It probably makes sense for the Islanders coaching staff. They were brought in to play together for a reason. If they can both stay healthy and they can get consistent, they might be able to be successful too. So the Islanders defense is pretty shored up right now. They got Pulick and Hickey rounding out the bottom two. Then they've got Boychuk, Dahan, Leddy, and Hamonic. And Ladd just hit the post in like one of his first shots in the team. Very good. So Ladd is going to actually do a lot of the things we're seeing him do right now. He's going to get into those dirty areas. He's going to get to the front of the crease. He's going to be an annoyance. He's going to be a leader in the locker room. You know, I'm sure if you're an Islander fan and you went to Islanders games over the past couple of years, you always saw that like Martin was one of the last guys out on the ice. He'd always give guys high fives. And Ladd is going to pick up the slack in that area. I'm not worried about the Islanders being weaker in the locker room. I'm worried about depth at the forward position. They need another center. Shane Prince on the third line isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not worried about that, but I'd like for them to get another forward because there are going to be injuries. And then on defense, too, there's a lot of veteran defensemen that are out there that they can get to play. Seventh, no Marek Zidlichky, no Brian Strait. Somebody else, somebody in the vein of like a Barrett Jackman, I would love. Somebody also, too, if he's not going to block shots and be gritty and be strong and be somebody that our young defensemen can look up to. Then somebody that can score. No other way to say it. Also, too, it's a little puzzling when you think about it that Martin only got $2.5 million from Toronto. Not that much of a raise from what he was making this year. Does Snow have any plans to sign anybody else? Why is he holding on to money that he might have been able to use to keep Martin? I mean, I think keeping Martin would have been a priority. So it's going to be interesting the rest of the summer. It always is when you're an Islander fan. But as we can see right now, the Islanders, with the acquisitions of Andrew Ladd and Jason Chimera, aren't necessarily a worse team. There's still depth there as long as everyone stays healthy. But we know it's the NHL, and we know people aren't going to stay healthy. I've written before last month that there are guys by committee, Anders Lee is one of them, that can step up, and the dynamics of the team are going to change. But the Islanders can absolutely positively pick up the slack and make up the goals, points, and hits lost by Okposo, Nielsen, and Martin. They're losing a lot of character, though, but they just got a lot back with Andrew Ladd. And they just got a lot of speed, too, with Chimera and a lot of versatility. So it's going to be a very different Islanders team next year, and especially with the fact that other changes can still be made, a lot of other things can still be done. It's going to be an interesting summer to be an Islander fan.